Welcome to another episode of Whitetail Rendezvous, coming to you 6 days a week as we interview whitetail experts and hear their traditions and personal stories of the hunt. Learn more about the latest gear, discover proven tips, and the latest strategies so you can make your next hunt a success. Now, here's your host, Bruce Hutchin.
Whitetail Rendezvous is pleased to announce a partnership with GoHunt.com. Who's GoHunt.com? Well, if you're a DIY hunter, you need the information at GoHunt.com/insider. Why? Because it provides 4,200 profiles, every unit, every species, and every season. Furthermore, they give in-depth analysis, interactive maps, unit access, and seasonal trends. Draw odds are very important, and they give you the most accurate information in the business. All this is available when you go to GoHunt.com/insider. Make sure you use promo code WR when you join Insider. You'll get a $50 gift card for GoHunt.com Gear Shop. All in all, if you're hunting out west in 2018, GoHunt.com Insider is where you need to be to get all the research information. When you use promo code WR, Whitetail Rendezvous receives a small commission from GoHunt.com. Whitetail Rendezvous, this is your host, Bruce Hutchin, and I'm heading to South Carolina today to meet up with the CEO, owner of Stand4 Outdoors, Dave Lucas. Dave, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us, Bruce.
Well, I'm excited because you're one of the guys out there that are giving it back and bringing to the forefront about one on military families, about the people that have our first responders, and hunting itself, because we're under fire no matter how you want to look at it. And here you are creating a company. So let's start right off with that. Why'd you start Stand4 Outdoors?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of, as Americans, it's our right to stand for things that we're passionate about. And there's a lot of folks out there that's good at doing that. But I feel like I needed to create a way for people to express their passions a little bit better. And I'm doing it on screen printed T-shirts. Everyone's passionate about something. Everyone stands for something or feels like something's very important in their life. And I started with some designs that I'm very passionate about. And, some of the examples of those designs are like stand for our flag, kneel for our cross, stand for our Second Amendment, stand for our law enforcement, our firefighters, got stand for military families, because family members of our military doesn't get the recognition that they deserve. I mean, if you think about, this is someone's daughter or son, this is someone's mom or daddy or brother or sister that's gone for 6 months or a year, losing sleep at night, not knowing, if their loved one is safe or what they're going through. And, I just can't imagine going through that. And I feel like the family members of our military deserve some recognition. But, and I've also got sporting shirts like stand for bow hunting, because we're always under attack. So if it's something that you feel passionate about or something you stand for, you need to be vocal about it. Stand for Second Amendment, stand for tagging out and bass fishing and duck hunting. We've got several of those designs, and we've got some in the making right now for different sports like catfishing and striper fishing and stuff like that.
So is this a business for profit, or are you going to be a nonprofit? How does that work?
Well, it's a business for profit, but we hadn't gotten there yet. So we just started out in January. There's a lot of expense involved with screens and artwork and that kind of stuff. And, actually I really wanted to do this to give me a way to get more involved with our community and our youth in the community, get our name out there. We did our first giveaway here in the last month or so. We gave away 3 trips to the youth in our community, 3 surrounding counties. And as we grow, we're starting to find some great partners out there that's willing to step up and help us out with some of these. But for an example, we just gave away a catfishing trip on Lake Wateree. We had a 14-year-old boy that won that, and he also got a free fishing rod from a local retailer here, Nickel Store. But they had a great day. I mean, he caught a 20-plus pounder and a 17-pounder. They caught about 20 he got to reel all of them in. I think he's addicted to that. He's never done anything like that. And then we gave away a striper fishing trip on Lake Murray down in Columbia. That will take place this Saturday. Another 14-year-old boy getting a free fishing rod. And we gave away a deer hunting trip down in Chester, South Carolina. That child will also Pin Oak Taxidermy donated the mounting the child's first deer. So that was a great thing. And we were able to find great partners. The deer hunting trip is our sheriff of Chester County, Alex Underwood, and the South Carolina DNR is going to be involved in that. They're going to fly the gun. They're going to take the child through some gun safety classes, sit in the stand with them, educate them on all the aspects of deer hunting. So really excited about these giveaways, and we've got plans in the future to do more. We really want to get involved with our community and helping our youth introduce them to the outdoors. And not only, we don't want to just take a child hunting or fishing. We want to teach them the right way, because they don't always get taught the right way, and how to respect our outdoors, how to respect, these animals, and how to handle themselves, the safety aspect of it. It just seems like as time goes on, these kids, this future of our country, and they tend to get wrapped up in iPads and iPhones and video games and running the streets. And, it's our responsibility as parents and adults to ensure our children are, have a bright future, and set them up for, success, and to introduce our outdoors to them and let them know there's more to life than just sitting behind electronics.
In the warm up, you talked very passionately about recruitment and taking people out. So personally, what have you done to move that flag forward?
Well, I mean, I'm very passionate about the youth, getting the youth out, but I'm also passionate about adults. Getting adults out there that's never experienced deer hunting or duck hunting or anything like that. I mean, I've taken my brother-in-law out. He's a grown man. He's in his 40s. Never been deer hunting before in his life, and took him out, showed him how to handle the weapon, keeping it unloaded, climbing in and out of the stand, wearing the safety harness, wearing your orange, that perfect shot, not taking shots at dusk dark and you're not sure what it is. That's our responsibility. But I took him out. He got his first deer, and now he's went out and bought him a gun this year. I mean, he's addicted to it. So and then I took my nephew out. Same thing. He was a gamer. All he wanted to do is sit around the house and play video games. And took him out, showed him the ropes the right way. He harvested his first deer. Actually, my sister got a little mad because it cost him about $200 in processing fees, because he wanted Slim Jims and jerky and all that.
Oh my goodness!
So, and he ate it all up. So, and then these giveaways we just gave away to these 3 kids. And now I've got a child down the road that never really had the opportunity to do any hunting or fishing, and he's pretty pumped. He went and got him a bow and got his hunt license. So we want to start teaching him how to shoot, and teaching him all the aspects of hunting safely and respecting our outdoors. I also enjoy, my wife and kids eat venison. We eat deer meat 2, sometimes 3 times a week. So I try to get 5 or 6 from my freezer. It seems like 6 is the number to get me by until the next season. And, I've enjoyed learning different ways to prepare it to where the whole family can enjoy it. And I can share that. I can share a secret with you if you like.
Yeah.
So I found out we like butterfly steaks and we like stew meat. We'll cook stew meat in the crock pot with gravy. But the secret to the steaks and the stew meat and stuff like that, you can get a 1-gallon Ziploc bag, put this meat in there after it thaws out some, put water in the bag, zip it up, and squeeze it, and then the water will turn red with blood. You open it a little bit, you drain it, you put more water in it, you squeeze it, and it won't be as red. You do that about 4 or 5 times, and the water will get where it's not as red, and the meat won't be as red. It'll be more of a brown look, and then you cook it, and it's got much better taste to it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
You heard it first here at Whitetail Rendezvous.
So, I'll take my butterfly steaks and I'll do that process, squeeze it out 4 or 5 times, meat to start looking kind of brown, and then I'll put my secret stuff in there. My steak seasoning and Worcester sauce and that kind of stuff. And that a lot of guys out there like deer meat and they can't get their wives or their daughters and their kids to eat it, but we have no problem around this house.
Now, does your wife hunt?
She doesn't. She's trying to be an author. She's a nurse. Spends off her free time writing books and doing crafts and stuff like that. My daughter, my 18-year-old daughter, I took her out a couple years ago. She got her first buck, and but now she's involved in college, and so she hasn't been going with me. But and that's why I've been reaching out to some other kids in the community, trying to get involved with those kids, maybe single parent home situations, or maybe their dad's out serving our country and they don't have anyone to take them out, hunting or fishing, or maybe they just lack of resources or finance reasons they can't do it. So that's one of the reasons why I've reached out to start some of this.
What's on tap for your fall season? I know you're going to Ohio during the rut, so let's talk about that hunt and tell me the details.
Yeah, so our bow season's already started here in South Carolina. It started September 15th, but it's it's in the high 80s. Mosquitoes are bad. The hurricane just came through, and it's kind of miserable out there. I still try to go every once in a while, just the first 2 hours of daylight or the last 2 hours of daylight. But our gun season starts up October 11th, and so from October 11th to the 1st of November, I'll be doing some gun hunting, primarily for trying to get those 5 or 6 for my freezer. I try to get one for a local pastor area that feeds the hungry. He goes out every day and serves them food, so I try to get him a deer. And then I've got this kid I was telling you about. I want to get him on his first deer this year. And then after that, I'm going to Ohio first or second week of November. Got to kind of watch the weather first, try to time the rut right. As you know, it's been a little unseasonably warm here recently, so I don't know how that's going to affect. We usually go at the first week. It may end up being the second week, but I'm not going on a guided hunt or a paid hunt or anything like that. There's a ton of government land up in Ohio owned by the power company and the state, and I go up there, scout around. You're not allowed to use ATVs or anything like that. Kind of like the old-fashioned way. You go in there, you scout, you look for signs, and then you go in with your climber and you climb up and you hunt. Last year it was 20 degrees when I went up, and it seems like everything's uphill in southeast Ohio. It's like 60-foot embankments. It's like being in the mountains, and it really tested me physically. But I'm starting preparation this year so it doesn't affect me so bad. I used to watching hunting shows and reading magazines, that kind of stuff, and they talked about the importance of being in shape for deer season. And I was always like, what are they talking about? I mean, we got condo stands, you drive halfway to them, or you drive the ATV in, you drag the deer out with ATV. I don't know what they're talking about. It's just, you may have to drag it, a little ways until you get it to your ATV. But when I went to Ohio last year, I quickly figured out what they were talking about as far as being in shape. When that rough terrain that's uphill, and you might have 60-foot embankments that you have to climb, it's rough. You really got to be in shape for that, especially in that cold weather.
So, how close to the Ohio River are you?
Probably about 25, 30 minutes west of the Ohio River.
Is that ag country, or tell me about the what kind of crops you got?
Well, as you going north, and we go through North Carolina, Virginia, West Virginia, and then into Ohio. When you first come into Ohio, it seems like a lot of cropland, but over toward where I'm hunting at, there's not a lot of fields or crop. It just seems like mountainous terrain with mostly country and residential, not a lot of crops. So you're looking for hardwood trees and that kind of stuff, acorns to hunt.
Yeah, because we all know deer need three things: they need food and shelter and water.
Yeah.
Now, do you do any Google Earth scouting?
Yeah, I do. I've got Hunt Onyx on my phone, Hunt X or Onyx. I've got that on my phone and my iPad, and I really like that app because it shows the boundary lines. The last thing I want to do is wind up on someone else's property. So really enjoy that app, and I also look for changes in the terrain, or the land, where I like to hunt hardwoods that butt up to thickets, and I like to hunt the edge, because it seems like the bigger bucks like to stick next to the thickets, and they'll slip out of those thickets, uh, right at dark or right after daylight, and they're eating the acorns and the hardwoods, and then slip back in the thicket. But when the rut comes on, they can wind up anywhere. They can end up in the parking lot of Target. When the
All
rut
bets are off.
they don't. Yeah. So yes, sir. And I've really got a strong passion for bow hunting now. I think it adds another depth of challenge to it. So really got into bow hunting here. Pretty passionate about it here in the last couple of years.
So
So
why did that happen? Why did you change over from rifle or gun hunting to bow hunting?
Well, it just seemed like gun hunting um, wasn't really challenging. It just seemed like I could go out just about any time and harvest a deer with a gun, and it just, I don't know, it was a challenge piece of it. And then, I really didn't take it serious the first couple of years I started hunting. I would go just to get me out of the house and in the woods. 'Cause the bow season come in a few weeks before, 4 weeks before gun season. So I would do it just to get out in the woods and see what was going on, and so I'd shoot in my yard and start getting better at it and better at it, and then I finally harvested one with my bow, and it's just hard to explain the excitement that I felt, and it was more like it's the way people used to hunt years ago before we had all these high tech weapons. It's the way the Indians hunted, and to go out and harvest a deer the way they did back in the beginning of time was really gave me a good feeling to be able to do that. So,
In the warm up, we talked about your hunting tradition. So let's go back through that, and let's let's go back to when you were a young kid or whenever you started hunting, and why is that important to you?
child, as a child or a young adult, um, it that's the time where you're kind of setting up your future, and the direction you're going to head, uh, and you find things that you enjoy doing. And we don't, you know, maybe it's selfish for me to think this way because I'm a sportsman. I don't know, but there's a lot of things out there that we really don't want our youth doing in the directions we really don't want them going in. So I feel strongly about the trying to direct our youth into the outdoor scene. If it's deer hunting, if it's turkey hunting, if it's bass fishing, something to get them, direct them in the right way. We want them being passionate about something that's not going to turn into problems for them later on in life.
So how did you get started?
I got started. A friend of mine introduced me to deer hunt. We both bass fished together. I was like 19 years old, and he was big into hunting too. I wasn't, but one day was coming back from fishing in a pond and was riding by his hunting land. He said, "Man, if you got a few minutes, I'd like to stop in here and it's coming up on deer season. He said, I'd like to stop in here and see if there's any fresh sign in here in this area I like to hunt." I'm like, "That's fine. We can do that." And I got out and started walking in the woods with him, and looking at sign. There were some old grubs, and he was explaining to me, how that happens, that whole process with rubs and scrapes, and he was looking for droppings and food sources and fresh tracks and trails, and I started getting interested in it, and I went and bought me a gun and got it sighted in, and started doing more scouting with him, and started hunting with him, and I really enjoyed it, and as time went on, I got older and I got a little more educated, and I seen that, he didn't show me, there were some things that he didn't show me that he should have when it comes to, safety and, how you handle yourself in the woods and that kind of stuff. So, that's when, I picked those things up myself. And then as I introduce people to the outdoors, it's my number one priority to teach these people, friends, family, whoever, the right way. Wearing your safety harness when you're in the stand. I mean, you owe that to your family to do that. Climbing in and out of the stand with your gun unloaded. You're not only a danger to yourself, you're a danger to people around you. Wearing your orange vest, not shooting moving objects when it's dusk dark. It could be someone walking across the field. That's happened way too many times. and then checking your stands before the season comes in, before you climb in it, to make sure they're safe and not, decapitated or rotten or anything like that. Um, I don't believe in shooting high-powered rifles from the ground if you don't know what's behind it. So it's a lot of different things, that it's more to just teaching people how to pull a trigger. There's a lot more to it. And, I'd hope that anyone out there that's listening is introducing their loved ones or friends or family or anybody to our sport, that they're teaching them everything involved with it, not just pulling the trigger on an animal.
You think about mentors and everything, and I hear loud and clear that that's what you really want to be is a mentor. And so, do you have a regular plan set up for mentoring youth and recruiting youth and into the outdoors?
Well, as with our shirts, our Stand4 shirts, they're all about, a lot of them has got to do with hunting and fishing, and a lot of kids get into our area. They get into wearing these shirts to school, and it turns into something. And I do these Facebook lives to try to get these kids more involved with us, and like I said, um, the sheriff of Chester County, he does this hunt every year. Um, for our youth and our community. I'm volunteering this year to take part in that. The local DNR is going to be involved in it to get these kids introduced to gun safety and in a deer stand and harvest their first deer. And we're going to continue to do these giveaways to the youth in our area to keep continuing introducing more kids to the outdoors and the different sports that we have to offer.
Why don't you give us a look at your shirts if you got a second? And secondly, tell us how to get a hold of you if somebody wants to reach out to you.
Okay. I'm dealing with an iPad. Please bear with me a second. This one here is stand for tagging out. It's got a whitetail buck, a turkey, and a gator on it. This one here is stand for bow hunting. This one here is our Second Amendment shirt. If you want our guns, come and take them. This one here is stand for our flag, kneel for our cross. This one here is ripping lips. That's a bass fishing shirt. And this one here is stand for military families. Those are our family members of our military doesn't get any recognition for what they sacrifice. And we've also got hats, different kind of hats. So, and then we've got more shirts. We've got stand for our law enforcement, stand for firefighters. We demand a cure for cancer. Just honestly, it's a lot of things that I'm passionate about. So, and then we got duck hunting and turkey hunting and so on and so on.
Now, are you going to start a 501c3 when you start making some money, or because I'm thinking sell so many shirts and then you can give some money to local military families or people in need. Food banks are great. We donate a number of deer every fall in Wisconsin. So I'm just trying to think where you can go with Stand4 other than getting the word out. But what's your goal? What's your mission statement?
Well, I mean, as far as like I said, we've got a shirt that's it's for cancer because that's got a special place in my heart. I've lost a ton of family members from cancer. Even I lost a 21-year-old nephew 2 years ago from cancer, and everyone's aware of it. All the talk is cancer awareness, but everyone's aware of it. We demand a cure for all cancer, and we're going to donate 100% of the profits to St. Jude's with that shirt. And then we're going to donate some money to military families as well. Once we get to a profitable state where we can do that. It's in all honesty, I didn't start this company to make a bunch of money. I really started it so I can reinvest in things that I'm passionate about, and those are the things I just explained on these shirts right here. But the number one passion would be getting involved with our youth and outdoors. There's a guy, Joseph Michaels, that is a great guy that I met through Facebook that got a lot of partners, and he's helping us out. There's a hunt club down in the lower part of the state, Collins Hunt Club. He's trying to get us a partnership with them. They have a lodge and all that stuff. So we'd like to give away some hunts for some, local youth to that lodge and, some different stuff like that. We're trying to get a partnership with Prime One Camouflage right now. And, if that happens, we may be able to do some giveaways for some camouflage for youth in our area that maybe can't afford to buy any kind of stuff.
Yeah, Joseph Michaels. That's how we got. That's how we get together.
Yeah.
Yeah, he referred it, and Stacy at Prime One, a heck of a lady, just an amazing, amazing woman.
I gotta call her this week. She sent me some stuff to give away. We're gonna do some drawings on that, and just a little bit of communication I've had with her. She just seemed like she was down to earth, and like you said, a great lady to work with, and I'm pretty excited about potentially having that opportunity here real soon.
Yeah, well, tell her I said hi. That's for sure. We're at the point of the show. What do you know today that you wish you knew 5 or 10 years ago in regards to hunting? Your one big thing.
I hate to keep beating a dead horse on this, but and it may sound like the political thing to say, but I'm not much into being saying the right political stuff. That's what Stand4 is all about. It's about taking this in action, right? Anybody can say they're going to do this and do that, but it's all about the action. What are you going to really do? Honestly, I wish I'd known 10 years ago the self satisfaction that I would get out of introducing someone to our sport and helping them harvest, their first deer or their first duck or anything like that. I mean, there was a time when I kind of, when you're hunting and your heart starts racing real fast, and when you see an animal and you're about to harvest it. There was a time when I was deer hunting that, I kind of lost that. Bow hunting helped bring it back, but there's no feeling in the world putting a child or someone that's never harvested a deer. There's no feeling in the world to look over at them after they got their first harvest and just to see the excitement in their face and knowing that you're going to be a part of that memory that they're going to carry on for years to come. That is, I just don't think there's any trophy out there that could give you the same feeling that would give you. And I wish I'd have known that 10 years ago.
A lot of people out there are paying it forward in our industry, and it's a beautiful thing to do. And one of the reasons for Whitetail Rendezvous podcast is just to share the hunting tradition. That this will be my 53rd year hunting whitetails or hunting in general, and I'm hunting the same farm that I hunted in 1966 in Wisconsin.
Wow.
It's amazing, and the guy who invited me to his family farm he and I both are still alive, and we'll be hunting, and the tradition just is unbelievable because we have generations of family now that are hunting the same farm.
It's incredible, and one thing that really bothers me, to be honest with you, is people who don't understand or quick to judge, activists and that kind of stuff. It really gets to me. They complain, they fuss about harvesting a deer, but at the same time they'll go to a steakhouse and eat a fillet. I mean, it's the same thing. That's just one of the frustrating parts for me, and that's why as sportsmen, it's our responsibility to make sure that we're, that we answer those questions the right way when we get faced with them, and then, and it's not all about just killing animals, it's 90% of the time I'm sitting in a deer stand watching does, watching little bucks and watching them play. I might even get out my phone and video record it or get my little grunt call and mess with them. It's about, this hectic, stressful life that we have now, and it's a way just to get away, and enjoy nature something that God gave us to enjoy, just watching that sunrise and watching everything just come to life, the birds out of the blue, they just start chirping and the squirrels start showing up, and there's just no telling what you'll see, and it's just the enjoyment of that. And that harvest is not just out killing animals. That harvest is going to be processed, and it's going to go in my freezer, and we're going to eat it, just like they eat meat that they buy from the grocery store. So it's another thing is that we're responsible for as outdoorsmen and hunters is to know how to talk to it, know how to explain it. If you're ever faced with, if you're ever faced with that situation and that, you know, someone wants to talk to you about it, you got to know how to handle it, and how to talk to them and explain it to them.
Well, that's a whole show in and of itself. And with that, we're going to wrap up this episode of Whitetail Rendezvous with Dave Lucas from Stand4 Outdoors. And so, Dave, thank you so much for being a wonderful guest and a passionate guest. And keep up the good work, because you're making a difference out there, my friend.
I appreciate that, Bruce, and I appreciate you bringing this on today.
Hey, folks. Bruce Hutchin, host of Whitetail Rendezvous. Hey, I'm pleased to announce that Buckwild Coffee is continuing their sponsorship for 2019. What's so special about Buckwild Coffee? Well, a gazillion people every day go to Starbucks and buy coffee. Well, I'll ship it to your house. Yes, I'll ship light, medium, or dark roast, ground or bean, right to your house. It's real simple. Just go to whitetailrendezvous.com/shop, pick out what roast you want, and we'll ship it out. Take a look at Buckwild Coffee, the finest roast in the West. Well, finest roast around the campfire, finest roast around your kitchen table. It's just flat out the finest roast you can get today. Order some at whitetailrendezvous.com/shop.
Thanks for joining us. Be sure to tune in tomorrow for another episode of Whitetail Rendezvous, where you can listen and learn from the experts so you can be more successful on your next hunt. Until next time, listen, learn, and succeed.